show you the Sistine Chapel in these panels. Outside, have you seen, is a brick building, is a rectangular building. The Papal Chapel, this is the Sistine Chapel, the chapel of the popes, the public chapel of the popes. There are important ceremonies all the year long. It's a sacred place, there is an altar, events, you know, when the Pope, there are important audiences, no? These are in the Sistine Chapel. For example, also every first Sunday of the year, in January, the Pope baptizes.
Anybody, or just like important people?
I don't think important people. I think the firstborn of the year. It's the first Sunday, so probably, no?
Yeah.
Or I don't think the VIP babies. I don't think. This is just one of the ceremonies of the Sistine Chapel. We will talk about the conclave, but now the decoration. The Sistine Chapel, now the rectangular shape. This will be our entrance, close to the altar. Once inside, the altar is right on the corner. Across the entrance, across the marble gate, sorry, on the opposite corner, this will be the exit, the way to the basilica, the shortcut. Okay, the marble gate was to separate the clergy, the altar, and the common people. That was the task of the marble gate. The Papal Chapel, a medieval chapel that was almost rebuilt in the early Renaissance at the time of the Pope Sisto IV della Rovere, 1475-77. Sisto IV, that's why Sistine Chapel, because of that Pope. He almost rebuilt the Papal Chapel, and he commissioned to a group of painters a new decoration. The decoration was painted by a group of painters from Tuscany. About the time of Sisto IV, today we have just the lateral walls. Here we have three decorations. Allora, the lateral walls at the time of Sisto IV, 1475-77. 1508, Michelangelo painted the ceiling. 1536, Michelangelo painted the Last Judgment, the wall behind the altar. Three different periods. This is the oldest decoration, the lateral walls. You're gonna find three sections. In the bottom there are painted tapestries. Sometimes they put real ones to keep it warm. Painted tapestries. Then big panels that are here, if you want to take a look, representing the life of Moses and the life of Jesus. And they are facing the Old and the New Testament. And then between the windows here, the portraits of the popes of the first centuries. These names, these are the names of the Uffizi, for example, in Florence. This is the previous generation of Michelangelo and Raphael, the best of the early Renaissance, the masters of Michelangelo and Raphael. Pietro Perugino is the master of Raphael. Ghirlandaio is the artist where Michelangelo had his apprenticeship. And you know, few panels, the panels are very important. And the most important, probably the life of Jesus. Can you see the handing over of the keys? What I told you before, when Jesus gave the keys to Peter, the Sermon on the Mount, or here when Jesus, the vocation of the apostles, Simon and Andrew in the lake, no? The fisherman, and Jesus that called them. You know, life of Jesus and life of Moses. We focus on Michelangelo. 1508. 1508, Julius II, the nephew of Sisto IV. Sisto IV was his uncle. Same family, the La Rovere family. Julius II called Michelangelo to paint the ceiling. We know that Michelangelo wouldn't do this because he was a sculptor, he was thinking about the marbles, you know, in the quarries of Carrara, but the Pope was an important customer. Julius, the warrior Pope. Michelangelo spent 4 years to paint the ceiling. 1508, just four, sorry. 1508, 1512. He wrote a diary in the meantime. We know how Michelangelo painted the Sistine Chapel, thanks to the diaries that he wrote, and thanks to the sketches that he drew. These are the sketches of the artist in the diary. We know the scaffolding, we know the height of the scaffolding, the way that Michelangelo designed the scaffolding. For example, we know about the distance between the scaffolding and the ceiling. The scaffolding covered the windows of the Sistine Chapel. The distance between the scaffolding and the ceiling was the height of Michelangelo plus his arm plus the paintbrush. He didn't paint lay on his back, but he was standing in this position. Can you imagine 4 years up on a scaffolding in this position? He wrote that the eyes were damaged, the colors, the pigments up on his face every time. This is what Michelangelo did. In these 4 years, Michelangelo decided the ceiling is a vault, no? Can you imagine? But everything is flat. Michelangelo managed the ceiling of the Sistine Chapel by dividing into painted architectures. So everything is flat, okay? Painted architectures. In this way, there are 9 sketches where you can find the first book of the Bible, the Genesis, the creation. The creation without words. This is one of the most important tasks of the sacred images. In the churches, for example, in Rome, you can find the holy books represented with the images, without words. The people were not able to read anymore, but in this way they were able to understand the message. That was called the Bible for the common people, no? The Biblia Pauperum. So let's read. All around are prophets and Sibyls, all the way around here. The Sibyls were pagan divinities able to forecast, like the prophets. That's why they are together. But in the 9 sketches, we can read the first book of the Bible, the creation. In the first 3 sketches from the bottom is the creation of the world, the separation of light and darkness, the creation of the sun and the moon, the separation of land and water. And then, this is the focus of the representation, is in the center of the ceiling, the creation of Adam, if you want to see here. The man is from the dust, no? In the holy books, the man is from the dust. Here we have Adam and God. Adam with his perfect, what a beautiful Adam, with his perfect body, is waiting for the touch, because he's waiting for the vital energy of God. God is about to give him. They are not touching, they are about to touch. Even if it's a perfect body, without that vital energy, it would be just an empty body. And this is what Adam is waiting for, no? Then Eve, she's not from the dust, she's from a bone of the man. That's why she's raising from Adam. That's a typical iconography. Then the original sin and the expulsion from the paradise. Can you see the tree of life now with the snake? Can you see also the wooden cross of Jesus, no? Symbolically represented. Finally, the last 3 sketches are about Noah, who is in the first book. The sacrifice that he made, the flood, and the drunkenness of Noah. Have you seen? We can read. That's a very important task. 1508, 1512. Give me 2 minutes more. 1536. Michelangelo again, another pope, the Pope the third Farnese. He commissioned Michelangelo to paint the most important wall in the Sistine Chapel. It's behind the altar. This is the focus, everyone is looking at it. For us, it's just right on the corner, across the entrance. But this is the most important wall. Michelangelo painted the Last Judgment. This is the second coming of Jesus on earth for the last day. The end of the world, and Jesus is here again to judge. In the Apocalypse of St. John, that's the source of inspiration, there are 7 angels with 7 trumpets holding the blessed. Here is the paradise, on the other side the damned. This is the hell. So, the paradise, the hell. But there is a kind of vortex. Everything is turning around Jesus. The first vortex is made with saints and martyrs, and then the blessed and the damned. Can you see Jesus with a beautiful Apollo, eh? Jesus with the jester, now one hand on top and one in the bottom. That's the starting point of this vortex. The angels are calling, but everything is turning around Jesus. Everyone is turning around Jesus. Around Jesus, the Virgin Mary, Saint Peter, an old man who is giving back the keys to Jesus. No need for the keys anymore. This is the end of the world, and he's giving back. Some Lawrence, some Bartholomew, St. Catherine, saints with the symbols of their martyrium. San Bartholomew with the empty skin is considered the self-portrait of Michelangelo. The empty skin is the self-portrait. Now, when I told you about his troubled life, he considered to be an empty skin. Can you imagine? Caronte, he was the boatman from the Divine Comedy of Dante Alighieri, another important source for Michelangelo, and here is Minosse, the judge of the underworld. Minosse is, this is very typical of Michelangelo's behavior. He was terrible in a lot of ways. We know that Minosse in the face, in the features, is representing a clergyman of the time of Michelangelo, Biagio da Cesena. They were not friends, you can imagine. If a clergyman is the judge of the underworld, they were not friends. They were, we know that Biagio da Cesena didn't like what Michelangelo was painting, he reprimanded Michelangelo. If you look carefully, he's the judge of the underworld. With the ears of a donkey. But I'm sure you have seen the snake. The snake is biting a part of his body.
Yeah.
The same.
Definitely not friends.
This is the Papal Chapel, can you imagine? Michelangelo. No, this is typical of Michelangelo. I suggest you to look at the different feelings, different reactions. Can you see the enjoyment of the blessed?
Yeah.
No? And on the other side, the drama. If you look at the man behind Minosse, so different reactions, different features. Above all, this is the triumph of the human body. I don't know if you're expecting to see something. Painted in the Sistine Chapel. This is the triumph of the human body. Michelangelo was studying anatomy, he was a sculptor, but especially this is the Renaissance. When the artists, I told you before, the artists came in Rome from Florence, they understood the importance of the antiquities, they took the inspiration. For the ancient Romans and Greeks, the human body was a symbol of purity. The man in the center of the universe, and the human body was representing this ideal perfection. No? Was representing this. The man with his meaning, but his body was representing this ideal perfection. That's why the ancient statues are when Michelangelo understood the importance of the ancient statues, then he understood the importance of the human body. This is what makes the museum so special. The fact that I'm about to show you the original sources of inspiration for the Renaissance artists. And this is what the artists did with them. This is the evolution of the visual art. Okay, not only for Michelangelo, but the relationship not between the antiquities and then the Renaissance artists is here, is visible here. That's why the painted man, painted. Questions? How are you? Bene?
Bene.
Allora andiamo. Thank you for your